Part 4. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 31. Chapter 31 The Hero of Hardware. More than a dozen people died in a row, and they were all prominent figures in Jiquan town. Such a big event not only shocked the entire town, but also the county. Especially when foreigners were involved, the county officials did not dare to make decisions without authorization. After a hurried investigation, they reported it to the superior. However, this kind of thing has little to do with Su Junming. When the superiors came to inquire, it was Uncle Ju who came forward. 3 days passed, and Su Junming finally recovered. Looking inside the Danshan, the light cyan mana is pulsing endlessly, obviously stronger than before. Above the Danshan, a bronze mirror with divine patterns engraved on its back shines brightly. There are 5 talisman seeds surrounding the bronze mirror, namely the Golden Light Talisman, the Demon Slaying Talisman, the Forbidden Suppression Talisman, the Divine Fighting Talisman, and the newly comprehended Calm Talisman. The Calming Mind Talisman is a talisman seed that is comprehended after practicing the Pure Mind Mantra to a certain level. Most of all, it can dispel demons, calm the mind, and has a huge auxiliary effect on the ascetics practice and enlightenment. In addition to the 5 talismans, there are 4 illusions of green dragon, white tiger, red bird, and Suanwu above the bronze mirror. Each illusion is 2 inches long and connected to each other by 3 silk threads. This is the 4 symbols of evil punishment array that Su Junming understood. Array diagram. After ending the Great Zhoutian cycle, Su Junming breathed a sigh of relief. He has been practicing diligently recently, and his magic power has improved a bit compared to before. If the level of the Deng Zhenju wasn't too low, he might still be able to make more progress. But now, shaking his head, Su Junming took out a piece of parchment from the deerskin bag. Because of the long time, the parchment had turned yellow. On this paper are drawn mountains, rivers, and longitude and latitude, which is obviously a map. In the center of this map, Nyotu Mountain is written in bold English. He got this parchment map from the Bible in Father Wu's arms. The handwriting is obviously different from that of Father Wu, and it should be that of the godfather Zhan he mentioned. If his guess is correct, Nyotishan is probably the place where godfather Zhan was bitten while robbing the tomb, and also where the bronze-armored corpse is. Su Junming kept Nyotishan firmly in his mind. From now on, before he becomes a golden elixir, he will never come within 50 kilometers of it. No, 100 kilometers. Unlike black zombies and white zombies, the bronze-armored corpses already have sanity and can use magic weapons. In addition, their physical bodies are powerful, and even ordinary golden elixir monks may not be their opponents. What Su Junming saw in the Taoist books collected by Taoist Master 4 Eyes, about the scales and half-claws of the bronze-armored corpse, were all words of caution. After carefully memorizing everything marked on the map, Su Junming drew a fire talisman and burned it to ashes. Since there is a bronze-armored corpse in that tomb, there must be an incredible treasure as well. Moreover, the bronze-armored corpse is a treasure in itself for those who are proficient in corpse refining. It would be better to destroy the body and eliminate all traces if you leave clues and others will covet you. He took out the silver cross and played with it. This thing, which is equivalent to a middle-grade magic weapon, is made entirely of mithril. According to the ratio of 1 ton of silver to refining 1 gram of mithril, this silver cross cost at least hundreds of tons of silver. If he collects gold, copper, iron, and tin according to this proportion, and combines the talents of hardware, he can practice a Taoist flying sword. Flying swords are different from magic swords. The former can fly to no avail. Cutting off an enemy's head from thousands of miles away is like searching a bag for an object. It is extremely sharp. Although the latter is also a sword, it is not known for its sharpness. Instead, like talismans, bells, tripods, and mirror furnaces, it uses wind, fire, thunder, water, etc. to refine demons and protect the way. However, magic swords are easy to refine, but flying swords are hard to find. Hundreds of tons of iron are not cheap, let alone gold and silver. In the current world of cultivation, except for sect inheritance, no one has ever heard of anyone having a flying sword in their hands. But now that he has a silver cross, Su Junming has at least got the same one from the heroes of hardware. It's just that the silver cross contains inscription restrictions and pure power of light. It is a rare magic weapon. It would be a pity if it was destroyed directly. I looked at the Bible next to me. Although it was not a magic weapon, due to long-term use, it was stained with the power of light and had a touch of spirituality. Put it away first. Maybe we can get more good things from the Western Holy See. The plan was decided. Su Junming put the silver cross and the Bible together and put them into a deerskin bag. In addition, he inherited the dragon-slaying legacy and now has a small fortune. In addition to hundreds of Huanja Dan pills, there were also nearly 10,000 taels of silver notes. Sure enough, no matter what era, people selling do used huge profits to buy Huanyadan and bank notes, and the talisman bag Su Junming got was the bulk of it. 2 talismans can nourish at least 200 yellow talismans and 10 white talismans, completely solving his dilemma of insufficient talismans and seals. From now on, he can be like Uncle Ju, waving dozens of talismans and seals, looking cool and generous. And you no longer have to worry about the dilemma of drawing too many yellow talismans, unable to warm them up in time, and can only be wasted. With a slap on the talisman bag, a sword-shaped talisman flashing with pale white light flew into Su Junming's hand. After asking Uncle Ju, he knew that this talisman was the fundamental talisman of the Swanyan ghost-slaying sword. However, there were only white talismans, and the subsequent blue, red, and orange talismans were not found on the Dragon Slayer. But think about it, if Mission's fundamental Taoism was written down, I'm afraid it would have been stolen by various sects. Even so, Su Junming was very satisfied. His demon-slaying talisman was just a basic talisman. Although it was assisted by a bronze mirror, he was stuck with no way forward, so his progress was slow and he was never able to break through to the realm of the blue talisman. This basic talisman of the Swanyan Ghost Slayer sword can point him to the way forward, strengthen his foundation, and make it easier to break through into the blue talisman. Dong dong. The knock on the door alerted Su Junming's wandering consciousness. With a wave of his hand, he put away the protective 4 elephants evil killing formation and got up from the bed. Opening the door, I found Uncle Ju standing outside. Uncle. Uncle Ju nodded, but did not speak. He obviously wanted to go in and talk. Su Junming quickly stepped aside to make way. How have you been recovering these past few days? Uncle Ju asked after sitting down. Thank you for your concern, Uncle. I'm completely recovered, and my magic power is even better than before. That's good. I have used the flying crane talisman to report the death of Tu Long to the inner gate of Luofu Mountain. I believe someone will come in a few days. Su Junming's heart moved. Uncle Ju didn't need to tell him this matter originally, but now that he came here specifically to tell him, he obviously had a deeper meaning. Uncle, is there anything I can tell my nephew about? Uncle Ju, who was extremely satisfied with Su Junming's wisdom, nodded. Although the Law Enforcement Hall will not track down the whereabouts of the dragon-slaying talisman bag, this matter is not very honorable. Therefore, you should not wear this talisman bag on your body these days to avoid arousing suspicion. Yes, my nephew understands. One more thing. Tu Long is the same disciple of your great-uncle Shi Jian. In the future, when you come to Mission General Altar and meet your great-uncle, you need to be careful. Su Junming's pupils shrank and he nodded slowly. In the plot of Zombie Supreme, Shi Jian's lightning thunder fist and wood stake technique were fighting each other. If it weren't for the blessing of Uncle Ju's Traveler Master and Protagonist Halo, he might not have been able to win in the end. Su Junming was still very cautious about Shi Jian, the great uncle. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 32. Chapter 32 Mission 36 Talismans. But you don't have to worry too much. We, mission, have our own rules. Even if your uncle is an elder, you can't bully the younger ones. If he goes too far, your master and I will make the decision for you. Thank you, uncle. Uncle Ju waved his hand and stood up. That's all I have to say, practice well. If you don't understand anything, feel free to ask me. Su Junming nodded. In the past month, with Uncle Ju's teachings and the assistance of the bronze mirror, his understanding of the pure Yang Wei has improved by leaps and bounds. I have gained more in 1 month than in the past year, which is a great opportunity. Dong dong. As soon as Uncle Ju was sent to the door, there was a loud knock on the door. Senior brother, Junming, Axing, Xiao Yu, open the door quickly. A somewhat cynical voice came from outside the door. Su Junming's body trembled, and this familiar voice instantly made him happy. Master is here. With a movement of his body, he came to the courtyard door and opened it like lightning. The four-eyed Taoist priest wearing yellow Taoist attire and dusty with travels appeared outside the door. Su Junming bowed and said sincerely. Disciple has met the master, and the master is safe. Taoist priest Simu stepped forward and held his arm. Ha, good apprentice, get up quickly and let the master take a look. Su Junming stood up straight. After looking at it for a moment, Taoist Master Four Eyes looked surprised, then overjoyed. Junming, have you made a breakthrough? Yes. Half a month ago, the disciple completed his cultivation and broke into the innate realm with the help of his uncle. Okay, you are indeed a good disciple of my master. Among the disciples of Mission's Chong generation, only a few can reach the Xiantian stage. Now there are also my four-eyed disciples, ha. Since the founding of the Mission sect, it has been passed down for 18 generations, which are, Hanjing Zijing, guarding your Suanzi, Zongdao Daishan, gaining one's own self-respect, and being respectful. Taoist priests Simu and Uncle Ju are from the same generation with the surname K. Simu, I heard your laughter from so far away. If you encounter something happy, how about you share it with me, senior brother? Following the rich voice, a tall, red-faced Taoist wearing yellow linen clothes and a talisman bag hanging on his waist, took 10 meters in a step, as if changing his body, and arrived in front of him in the blink of an eye. Senior brother Yang Xian. Stopping, Yang Xian took a look at the young man next to him who was taller than himself, with a solemn expression and a square face. Sure enough, he has already entered the innate world. I didn't expect that. Although this guy Simu is not serious, his ability to teach his disciples is extraordinary. As he spoke, he nodded to Uncle Ju who was standing next to him. It can be seen from his words that his feelings for Simu are obviously deeper than that of Uncle Ju. Hearing him praise his apprentice, Simu was happy and didn't care about his evaluation of himself. Junming, come and see your Uncle Yang soon. Disciple has met Master Yang. Before Yang Xian could speak, Simu spoke first. That's right. You, Uncle Yang, are the deacon of our Mission Law Enforcement Hall. He is profound in Taoism. He cares most about the younger disciples who have superior qualifications and are down to earth and motivated. So you should ask for advice and get close to him at all times. Su Junming knows the elegant meaning after hearing the string song. Yes, this disciple must ask Master Yang for advice. Yang Xian raised his eyebrows. Simu is indeed a good disciple. Those who sing and sing are just trying to take advantage of me, right? Hey, my incompetent disciple has just entered Taoism. Senior brother Yang can just give him a little. It can be regarded as a little encouragement for his future practice. After looking at Su Junming again, Yang Xian pondered briefly and nodded. He reached out and took out a talisman with white light shining from his storage bag. I'll give you this soul-binding talisman. If you encounter a spiritual beast that catches your eye in the future, use it to arrest and subdue it. Thank you, uncle. After being teased several times by Uncle Ju with the De Yang grass mat, Su Junming would never refuse anything given by his elders unless it was a very important treasure. Moreover, although the soul-binding talisman does not directly lead to the immortal path like the Supreme Purity Divine Thunder Technique, Wooden Pole Technique, and Swanyan Ghost Slaying Sword, it is still better than the Demon Slaying Talisman, Corpse Suppressing Talisman. Basic talismans like the Ghost Suppressing Talisman are strong. It is one of the 36 talismans of Mission, and only disciples of the inner sect of Mission can practice it. From now on, follow your master to practice Taoism and strive to become the pillar of our Mission Southern sect as soon as possible, Yang Xian encouraged. Disciples must remember Master Yang's teachings, work hard morning and night, and practice Taoism diligently. Yang Xian smiled and nodded, glancing at Asing and Xiao Yu on the side. Senior brother Lin, are these two your disciples? Uncle Ju nodded. Axing, Xiao Yu, come here to meet Uncle Yang. Axing. Xiao Yu. Meet Uncle Yang. The cultivation level of the two is obviously much different from that of Su Junming. Although Yang Xian has a normal relationship with Uncle Ju, there is no conflict, so naturally he will not use it to ridicule him. He took 10 yellow bud pills from the deerskin bag and gave them to Axing and Xiaoyu as a meeting gift. After greetings, Yang Xian and Simu were welcomed in by Uncle Ju. The three elders were sitting at the top, with Su Junming, Asing, and Xiaoyu each standing behind their respective masters. Senior brother Yang, why do you have time to come to my senior brother's dojo? Simu was impatient and asked as soon as he sat down. Uncle Chiu's Tulong died in Jiquan town 3 days ago. After the law enforcement hall received the flying crane talisman from senior brother Lin, Uncle Qian sent me to investigate the matter. Did Dragon Slayer die in Jiquan town? He looked at Uncle Ju with questioning eyes, and the latter nodded. There is a late-stage congenital black zombie hidden in the church in the town. It was originally sealed inside, but it did not do any evil. But 10 days ago, a group of Western monks came from nowhere, opened the church, and accidentally killed the black zombie. Just when he was slaying the dragon and driving the corpse here, he was poisoned by the black zombie. As for the specific details, I was not involved and I am not too sure. Catching corpses. Dragon slaying is a fool, I think he is probably doing some dirty things by driving corpses away, Simu snorted coldly. Apparently he doesn't like dragon slaying very much. Yang Xian frowned slightly. Senior brother Lin has profound Taoism and is in charge of the wine spring. Why didn't you remove the black zombie in advance? Our rules in Mission, if aliens do evil, they are monsters. Mission disciples have the responsibility to kill demons and maintain local stability. If they do not do evil and do not harm lives, then let them go freely and don't worry about it. In addition, the strength of the black zombie's Gao Shen, I alone may not be able to subdue him, so I haven't moved yet. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 33. Chapter 33, Changchun Valley. The black stiffness in the late congenital stage is indeed no small matter. How did senior brother Lin subdue it? Yang Xian nodded and said. This is all thanks to master nephew Su. Oh. Several pairs of eyes were focused on Su Junming. I'm getting more and more curious. I wonder if senior brother Lin can explain it in detail, Yang Xian said with great interest. Master nephew Su, should you say it yourself, or should I do it? Uncle Ju nodded. Su Junming said respectfully, it was my uncle who removed the black zombies. The disciple only contributed some small contributions and I don't dare to take credit. Let's do it for my uncle. That's fine, actually, there's nothing much to say. That His Hung was able to kill him was thanks to Master Nephew Su's 4 elephants evil killing formation and the corpse binding rope. Wait. Junming, have you mastered the corpse binding rope? Simu asked in surprise. Su Junming nodded, shook his hand, and a white soft rope flew out of his left sleeve like a snake. Sure enough, it's the corpse binding rope. With his eyes filled with joy, he stretched out his hand and made a move. Su Junming did not resist and allowed him to move the corpse binding rope over. After taking it in hand and feeling it carefully, the surprise on the 4 eyes' faces gradually turned into disbelief. How is that possible? You have practiced 2 restraints on the corpse rope sacrifice. Uncle Ju also showed a hint of surprise on his face. All along, he thought that Su Junming's corpse binding rope had only 1 restriction. Yang Xian said in surprise, it seems that Master Nephew Su is very talented in weapon refining. Being able to cultivate 2 treasure forbidden magical weapons at this age is considered outstanding among the new generation of disciples in mission. Uncle Ju glanced at him. Junior brother Yang, my nephew has been practicing Taoism for only 3 years, and he has only been advanced to the innate level for less than a month. Yang Xian's smile froze, and after taking a deep breath, he said in an unbelievable tone. Senior brother Lin, is this a joke? Junior Master Su's mana has not yet been converted into super clear mana. This cannot be false. Moreover, if he had broken through earlier, Junior brother 4 Eyes would have taken him to Luofu Mountain to receive the seal. Would he wait until now? Yang Xian looked at Lin Ju, who was determined. Although the 2 parties did not have a close relationship, he also knew that the senior brother, who had a higher level of cultivation than himself, was strict by nature and never joked. Since he said so, that's probably what happened. If this is the case, then Master Su's talent in weapon refining is amazing. It is impossible to practice magic weapons without mana, so no matter how much accumulation they have in the foundation building period, those who are new to Xiantian are undoubtedly novices in the practice of magic weapons. Not to mention 2 forbidden magic weapons, being able to refine even 1 forbidden magic weapon is considered an extraordinary talent. Looking at Su Junming, who always looked calm and showed no complacency. In addition to his talent for refining weapons that is far beyond ordinary people, this nephew Su's character is even more extraordinary, Yang Xian thought to himself. Simu, it seems that you have accepted a good disciple with excellent talent. Haha, of course. Simu shook his hand and returned the rope to Su Junming, a glint flashing in his eyes. In addition to the 2 restrictions, he also noticed with his spiritual consciousness that the talisman used by his proud disciple to practice the rope for binding the corpse was not the corpse-suppressing talisman or the ghost-suppressing talisman, but a more advanced talisman. There are shadows of the corpse-suppressing talisman and the ghost-suppressing talisman, but they are different. And it has gone beyond the scope of basic talismans and seals. It is a new type of talisman seal that contains the meaning of suppression and imprisonment. Simu did not expect that Su Junming realized this by himself, and thought it was the opportunity that this disciple got from Tulong, so he wisely did not say it here. Next, will junior brother 4 Eyes take junior brother Su to Luofu Mountain to receive the seal? Yang Xian asked. 4 Eyes nodded affirmatively. This is the purpose of bringing him out this time. It's just that on the way to the sect, he fell into the trick of the black-hearted ghost Su Tong, which caused Junming to be seriously injured. He spent a month recuperating with his senior brother, otherwise he would have been he is an inner disciple of mission. So that's it. Yang Xian looked directly at Su Junming and pondered for a moment. Since today is the right time, I have an opportunity to give it to Master Nephew Su. Senior brother Yang, please make it clear that Simu is very grateful, Simu said quickly. After Yang Xian nodded. Senior brother Lin, junior brother Simu, do you know about the 1,000-year-old red fruit in Changchun Valley in Xiangxi Ridge? Uncle Ju raised his eyebrows. I have always heard that the two sects in the north and south of Mission Mountain have a lower courtyard in the Changchun Valley of Xiangxi Ridge. I have never heard of the 1,000-year-old vermilion fruit. Speaking of which, this matter is also a secret of the two sects in the north and south of Mission. I only found out about it by chance. Senior brother Yang, please stop being so pretentious and please speak clearly, Simu urged. We haven't seen each other for several years, and your quick temper has not changed at all. Yang Xian organized his language. Speaking of this matter, we can trace it back 300 years ago. The seniors of the two sects in the north and south of Mission jointly discovered a red fruit that has been growing for thousands of years in the Changchun Valley of Xiangxi Ridge and is a low-grade Dongxian elixir. Su Junming's pupils shrank. The spiritual practice world divides elixirs, spiritual plants, spiritual materials, etc. into four major levels: Dongzhen, Dongxian, Sandong, and Daidong. Each major level is divided into four smaller levels: lower, middle, upper, and top. The tail of the demon fox that he refined to tie up the corpse was the lowest level Dongzhen low-grade spiritual material. And Uncle Ju's Dianko is Dongzhen's middle-grade spiritual material. In the current world of cultivation, Dongzhen low-grade spiritual materials are not common, and Dongzhen mid-grade spiritual materials are very rare. Dongsuan level spiritual materials have almost become legends. Now that he suddenly heard it, Su Junming felt quite shocked. Not only him, Uncle Ju and Simu, who heard this for the first time, also looked shocked. The 1,000-year-old red fruit matures once every 60 years, and is the top elixir in the world of spiritual practice. However, the two sects in the north and south of Mission have always been connected with each other. Although the elixir is precious, the top leaders of the two sects are not willing to do it because of one elixir. It hurts the friendship between the two sects that has been accumulated for thousands of years. I don't want the matter to get too big and attract the covetousness of other forces in the cultivation world. Therefore, after discussing it, the ancestors of the two sects made a decision to jointly build a lower courtyard in the Changchun Valley of Xiangxi Ridge, and it will be looked after and cared for by the disciples of the two sects for thousands of years. Zuguo, if the Zuguo produced in every jiazi is an even number, it will be divided equally. If it is an odd number, 3 of them will be taken as a reward and awarded to the outstanding young disciples of the two sections. Senior brother Yang, is this true? Simu asked. This kind of thing cannot be done falsely. And I only heard about it from Master recently. Hearing this, the hesitation on Uncle Ju and Simu's faces disappeared. Unlike their mentor, who had been dead for many years because he could not break through the golden elixir, Yang Xian's master, Master Mu Wu Yuanzi, is one of the 4 great golden elixir monks of Mission Southern sect. With such a backer, Yang Xian's status within the Mission Southern sect and his understanding of the sect's secrets are naturally far superior to theirs. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 34. Chapter 34 Biang Pil. I heard Buletin Junming, this is a 1,000-year-old Zikuo. 1 bite is enough for you to break through 2 minor realms, Taoist Master 4 Eyes said. Su Junming nodded, and then held his hands as a gift. Thank you, Uncle Yang, for informing me. My nephew is very grateful. That's right, Senior Brother Yang, thank you very much, Simu said. Yang Xian waved his hand. Don't rush to say thank you. Although there are 3 Zuguo, there are no less than 10 young disciples of the inner sect who have broken into Xiantian within the 2 sections. If you want to successfully obtain the Zuguo, you still need a competition. If Master Nephew Su can advance to the top 3 in the end, then he will certainly get his wish. If not, then Zuguo will have no chance with you. Su Junming nodded, not surprised by this. In a situation where there are many monks and few people, everyone relies on their own abilities. Moreover, in this way, the most precious cultivation resources can be ensured and handed over to the most outstanding disciples, allowing them to quickly improve their cultivation. This is also one of the best ways to ensure the future inheritance of the sect. Junior brother Yang, when is the date when this red fruit will mature? Uncle Ju asked. In half a year. Simu felt a little relieved. Among the younger disciples of the two sects in the north and south of Mission, there are many who advance to innateness earlier than Su Junming, and there are many geniuses among them. Although he has confidence in his disciples, Su Junming has just entered Xiantian, and his background is a bit shallow after all. If there is a buffer of half a year, the fight for Zhuguo will be more confident. Not only the Four Eyes, Uncle Ju and Su Junming also felt relieved at the same time. Especially Su Junming, what he needs most now is time. In the past 6 months, with the help of the Bronze Mirror, his understanding of the Shen De Zhenju, Pure Yang Bagua, and even the Shangqing Divine Thunder technique has been able to reach a higher level. Being able to practice the 3 forbidden laws of the corpse tying rope can make the power of the 4 elephants exorcist formation stronger. You can also comprehend more talismans. Master Nephew Su has excellent talent. After half a year of accumulation, he will definitely be able to make further progress. If I win the Zhuguo in the future, I can practice a furnace of white yang pill for Master Nephew Su. Yang pill is a unique secret medicine of the two sects in the north and south of Mission. 1 pill is more effective than 100 pills of Huanja pill, so it is very precious. Unless you make a contribution to the sect, it will be difficult to receive a gift. Su Junming once heard from Simu that Uncle Ju received 2 medals because he came second in the sect competition. Thanks to these 2 Biang pills, Uncle Ju's cultivation level is much better than many of his peers. Now he has become one of the few disciples of the K generation who is in the late stage of Xiantian. He is expected to advance to Jindan in the future and is highly valued within the sect. Although Su Junming didn't know how many Biang pills could be cultivated from 1 Zhuguo, if he could get it, he would definitely be able to improve his cultivation greatly. There was no need for Uncle Ju and Taoist Master Simu to give orders, Su Junming had already said respectfully. Then, my nephew, thank you Master Yang in advance. It seems that you are very confident in yourself, Yang Xian nodded and said meaningfully. My master often teaches me that if you don't have confidence in anything, you will lose half of it first. Simu, it seems you have taught a good apprentice. He, it's this kid who knows how to work hard. Yang Xian smiled. This disciple of Simu is indeed very outstanding, otherwise he would not have given this favor. Senior brother Lin, I will be bothering you for a few more days, investigating the cause of Tulong's death. I hope you can take care of me. Of course it's no problem, Uncle Ju nodded. Axing and Xiao Yu go and clean up the west wing so that you, Master Yang, can stay. Yes, Master. Axing and Xiao Yu, who were very fond of the uncle who gave him a meeting gift, quickly responded and turned around to go down to prepare. Later, Yang Xian asked Tulong about the cause of death in detail. Senior brother Lin, is that black zombie body still there? The morgue in the backyard. That's good. According to the rules, I have to take this black corpse back to the law enforcement hall for examination, Yang Xian said. Easy to say. Also, before I came, I received the flying crane talisman from senior brother. He specifically told me to take the dragon-slaying body back to Luofu Mountain, so I will take it with him when the time comes. Of course it's no problem. It's just that the talisman bag and magic talismans on the dragon's body are missing. Only a bottle of Huanja Dan in the deerskin bag, a volume of Bardo Mysterious Goo book, and 3 Read the First Centipede Goo is still there, and junior brother Yang can bring it back with him when the time comes. Yang Xian's eyes flashed. Although it is forbidden for fellow disciples to kill each other in the mission sect, if a fellow disciple dies at the hands of a demon, there is no explicit prohibition on returning the magical weapons, pills, and other items left behind to his Taoist companions or disciples. A common practice is to keep a few items and return the rest. Of course, if someone later avenges him, he is also entitled to take all the cultivation resources as his own. After Su Junming got the dragon-slaying talisman bag and deerskin bag, he took away the talisman bag, 3 bottles of Huanjidan, nearly 10,000 taels of silver notes, and the Swanyan Ghost Slayer sword talisman. Later, at Uncle Ju's request, he returned the remaining bottle of 25 Huanjidan, plus the Bardo Mysterious Gu book that Su Junming had memorized after reading it, and 3 red-headed centipede Gu. Nothing was done to perfection, and he could even be called kind. In this way, even Shi Jian couldn't say anything. In that case, I will bring it to senior brother. After Yang Xian asked in detail about the death of the Dragon Slayer and how Uncle Ju killed the zombies, it was almost noon. After lunch, Simu and Su Junming, who had not seen each other for a long time, naturally had a lot to say, so they left Uncle Ju and Yang Xian behind and returned to the wing where Su Junming usually lived. Good disciple, let me take a look at it quickly. Pulling Su Junming over, he looked at the tall and upright disciple, and the Taoist master with 4 eyes became more and more satisfied. Within just 1 month, you can complete the foundation building and successfully advance to the innate level. And you can also practice the corpse binding rope magic weapon, which is really rare. It's because of the master's daily teachings that I have the disciples I have today. Okay. Now that we are master and disciple here, there is no need to say these words. Master asked you, the talisman used to practice the corpse binding rope is different from the corpse suppressing talisman and the ghost suppressing talisman, but the legal will to imprison and suppress is several times higher than the two. What's going on? He had long expected that Simu, who had seen the ropes used to bind the corpse, would ask about it, so Su Junming prepared a draft in advance. It's a coincidence. When the apprentice broke through the innate stage that day, he felt that the spiritual platform was empty and his understanding had greatly increased. The true meaning of the various talismans and seals taught by the master in the past were as clear as the lines on the palm. Therefore, he understood what the master taught him one after another. There are 3 talismans, the God-fighting talisman, the ghost-suppressing talisman, and the confinement talisman. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 35. Chapter 35 6 Town Talismans. And for some reason, the corpse-suppressing talisman, ghost-suppressing talisman and confinement talisman merged on their own and became a new talisman. The new talisman's ability to imprison and suppress the Dharma is stronger, so during the ritual training when tying the corpse with a rope, the apprentice took it upon himself to use it to replace the previous corpse-suppressing talisman and ghost-suppressing talisman. Seeing the talkative disciples, Taoist Master Simu was stunned. After a long time, he said in a trembling tone, You said that you not only understood the God's talisman, but also mastered the 6 Towns talisman without a teacher. Master, what is the 6 Towns talisman? You do not know. You never mentioned it to me, so of course my disciples don't know. The 4-eyed Taoist priest patted his forehead. I was so frightened and confused by your kid. I really never mentioned it to you. After calming down for a while, Taoist priest Simu organized his words. In addition to the 7 true methods that directly lead to the immortal path, such as the Shangqing Divine Thunder, the Shenda Zhenju, the Pure Yang Bagua, and the Swanyan Ghost Slaying Sword, our sect also has 36 talisman inheritance. The 6 Towns talisman is one of them. Master, is there any connection between the ghost-suppressing talisman, corpse-suppressing talisman, confinement talisman and the 6 suppressing talisman? Naturally. The 6 suppressing talisman is composed of 6 basic talismans, ghost-suppressing talisman, corpse-suppressing talisman, imprisonment talisman, demon-suppressing talisman, magic-suppressing talisman and sealing talisman. If you can comprehend any 3 of them, you can and as one, it is the innate white talisman, the 3 Towns talisman. If you can fully understand it and combine the 6 into one, it will be the blue talisman, the 6 towns talisman. Claimed, with one talisman, all demons and monsters under the golden elixir can be suppressed. At the end of the sentence, there was a hint of longing in his words. Su Junming was also envious of the power of the 6 towns talisman, but he also knew that he was far behind now. The practice of talisman and seal script has always been more difficult the further you go. Master, the 6 suppressing talisman is a talisman that can imprison and suppress a line. This type of talisman, in addition to the ghost suppressing talisman, the corpse suppressing talisman, the imprisoning talisman, the demon suppressing talisman, the magic suppressing talisman and the sealing talisman, as well as the spirit sealing talisman and the mountain suppressing talisman. Since the first 6 talismans can be synthesized into the 6 towns talisman, why can't we combine the spirit sealing talisman and the mountain Zhening mansion's dharma to become a stronger one, 7 towns or 8 towns? A level talisman. Boom. After giving Su Junming a violent shudder, "You brat, do you think it's so easy to understand the magic talisman? The further back you go, the harder it becomes. Among the 36 talisman of our sect, only 9 can reach the level of the red basic talisman. There are only 3 gates, and most of them have been collected by ancestors over the past 2000 years, and there are only 3 gates that can be truly understood and deduced." Su Junming covered his head and smiled. He had forgotten that not everyone has a bronze mirror to assist in enlightenment like him. Therefore, what he just said made his master a little jealous. "Master, while I was living here with my uncle, I learned the practice method of pure Yang Bagua from my uncle." His eyes would tremble again, so Su Junming changed the subject. "Since it was passed on to you by your master, then you should practice hard. You're not angry?" Four Eyes waved his hands. "Master is not that stingy. What's more, your master and I are brothers in the same discipline, and we have a deep relationship. Moreover, your understanding is amazing and cannot be measured by ordinary people. If you stick to one thing, it will delay your practice. But Junming, you have to remember that we at home pay attention to the cultivation of Tao and Dharma. You must not be greedy for the ability to fight Dharma and delay the polishing of your own cultivation. Otherwise, no matter how strong you are, it will be nothing more than a slap in the face when the deadline comes." Lois. Yes, disciples should remember the master's teachings, practice Taoism and Dharma together, and make progress together. Four Eyes nodded with satisfaction. "By the way, do you have the dragon-slaying talisman bag in your hand?" "Master's Dharma is correct." Su Junming took out the talisman bag and handed it over. Simu waved his hand but did not answer it. "I won't look at it anymore. With this talisman bag, it will save you a lot of trouble when expelling corpses in the future. Take out your martial saint statue." Su Junming complied, took out the ebony Guanggong statue from the deerskin bag and handed it over. He held it in his hand and examined it for a moment, then a ray of mana popped out. Inspired by this, the statue of Guanggong instantly lit up with a rich white spiritual light. 1 foot of spiritual light. Although Simu was prepared in his heart, he was still shocked to see that his apprentice had comprehended the white fundamental talisman of the Shen de Zhenju in just over a month. At first, it took him nearly a year to reach Su Junming's current state. In comparison, my apprentice lasted less than 2 months, 35 days to be more precise. His speed and understanding are truly rare in the world. Master, this disciple has understood the white basic talisman of the Shen de Zhenju taught by you, but the last time I used it, my strength did not increase by a small level as you said. Have you already used it? Su Junming nodded. Last time when I worked with Uncle Lin to eliminate the black zombies in the church, my disciple used it once. How does it feel? Very good. He still can't forget the feeling of great strength. And if there hadn't been a final explosion, Uncle Ju might not have been able to kill that Western indestructible bone so smoothly. Ha ha, understand the way of divine fighting well. Among the 7 vein Taoism of mission, the true technique of divine fighting is known as the most powerful killing technique, even more domineering than the Shenhua order. Real. Seeing him retaliate, he said with an angry look, "You brat, what do you know?" Legend has it that 800 years ago, a senior of our sect who practiced the Shen de Zhenju cut off the calamity thunder with a single sword, and was unscathed. He ascended to immortality and left. His eyes were filled with admiration, and his eyes were full of desire. Su Junming looked at him as if he wasn't lying. The 4 eyes that reacted noticed his expression. "You have only reached the first stage of the white basic talisman of the Shen de Zhenju now, so the power you can exert is naturally very limited. When you reach the second stage of practice in the future, the aura of the martial saint statue will rise 2 feet. You can use after mastering the true magic technique, the strength can be doubled. When you reach the third stage of cultivation in the future, the spiritual light of the martial saint statue will rise 3 feet. After you use the divine fighting true art, your strength will increase 4 times, which is a small level. If you can cultivate to the perfection stage, the aura of the martial saint statue will float 10 feet in the air, and then use the true God strike technique. The power of one blow will be 8 times greater than before." "What about the blue fundamental talisman?" Su Junming asked curiously. To prevent him from being too ambitious, Simu didn't originally intend to say anything. Considering that his apprentice's understanding was astonishing, he hesitated briefly and then said seriously, "The Shen de Zhenju is extremely overbearing. Once you understand the blue fundamental talisman, even in the first stage, it can greatly increase your strength. But how much strength can be increased depends on your cultivation level. I know it's not very specific as a teacher. However, Junming, the tyrannical magic power requires a strong body to withstand it. If you are not capable of cultivation, it is best not to use the power of the blue basic talisman of the Shen de Zhenju. Once it is consumed too much and the body is damaged, in the future it will affect the road. Generally speaking, few people who practice the Shen de Zhenju will encounter situations where the realm of Taoism far exceeds the realm of cultivation. But unfortunately, my disciple's understanding is so amazing that I can't help but worry about my eyes." Seeing Taoist priest Simu's words of caution, Su Junming nodded honestly. "You only have one life, so it's better to cherish it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 36. Chapter 36, Worried Taoist priest 4 eyes. After asking about Su Junming's current cultivation status, Simu answered some of his questions about practicing the Shen de Zhenju. Su Junming eagerly absorbed new knowledge from Taoist priest 4 eyes. With the help of the bronze mirror, his understanding of the true secret of divine fighting improved rapidly. Seeing the look of enlightenment that appears on his disciple's face from time to time, and the increasingly intense aura on the statue of the martial saint next to him, his eyes are filled with relief, but he can't help but feel a huge pressure at the same time. His understanding of the God's true art is only at the late stage of the white basic talisman. According to his apprentice's genius-like understanding, I'm afraid it won't be long before he has nothing to teach him. By then, his master will be in disgrace. Dong dong. A knock on the door suddenly sounded, interrupting the practice of the master and apprentice. "Come in." Taoist priest Simu said quickly. With a squeak sound, Axing opened the door and walked in. "Bad boy, what's going on?" "Uncle Master asked me to come to you." After hearing this, there was a feeling of relief in my eyes. "I know, I'll go right away." He got up from the ground with a swish. "Junming, review what I gave you earlier." "I'll go see your uncle first." "Yes, Master." Looking at the 4 eyes that hurried away after finishing speaking, Axing scratched his head. Brother, why are uncles so active this time? Uncle and master haven't seen each other for a long time, maybe I miss them a little. After Su Junming listened to Taoist Master Simu's sermon, he felt countless new insights pouring into his heart, as if he could faintly touch the middle stage of the white fundamental talisman of the Shen de Zhenju. He was about to think about it carefully and answered casually. Ah Xing sent him away. Senior brother, are you looking for me? Uncle Ju nodded and pointed to the chair next to him. Sit down and talk. Sit with your four eyes in compliance with the words. After looking him up and down, he asked, why are you still a little unhappy? Junming made you angry. Shimudeo let out a long sigh. It's a bit embarrassing to say it, but senior brother is not an outsider, so I won't care. After a pause, he organized his words. Logically speaking, I should be happy to have a disciple with superior qualifications, but that kid Junming's qualifications are too outstanding, and his understanding is the only one I have ever seen in my life. In just 1 month, he has clearly understood that God strikes the truth Ju is the first stage of the white fundamental talisman. I gave him a sermon just now, and I even drew inferences from one instance. My understanding of the true art of divine fighting has been a visible improvement. It makes me, a master, feel a lot of pressure. If this is the case, I'm afraid there will be another one within a year and a half. All my inventory was emptied by him. When the time comes, there will be nothing left to teach, and my master will be in disgrace. Having said that, Taoist Master Four Eyes sighed again. Regarding his feelings, Uncle Ju, who often explained the pure Yang way to Su Junming, had also felt the same in the past half-month. You are just worrying. It is a blessing to have a disciple with outstanding qualifications to pass on the Taoism. Besides, in the future, Junming will outshine his master and have a deeper understanding of the Shen de Zhenju, which can also be fed back to you, the master. By then you, master and disciple, will think that it will be a good story. Having said that, it's still a bit difficult to accept, Four Eyes said. Confucius said, when 3 people walk together, there must be my teacher. You'd better be more open-minded. It won't be long before what I just said will become a reality. Moreover, you don't want to break through the gold medal before your life limit comes. Dan would never dream of it. Four Eyes nodded without hesitation. Pursuing a higher realm of cultivation is the biggest obsession of Taoists, and Taoist Master Simu is no exception. That's it? Junming has an excellent understanding. In the future, your understanding of the way of God will be better than yours. With his guidance, you can focus more on cultivating your magic power, visualizing the spirit and gentleness cultivate your Dharma body. In this way, your cultivation speed will definitely be much faster than now. In the future, you will have greater possibilities to advance to the golden elixir. After thinking for a while, he nodded. Senior brother should think it through. Uncle Ju smiled. Did Junming tell you that I passed on the golden light bagua to him? I said it. Don't worry, senior brother, I have no objection to this. Junming has an excellent understanding. If he only practices the way of God, it will be a waste of his qualifications. Uncle Ju nodded and suddenly said, I also passed the Dayang straw mat to him. Taoist priest Simu's expression changed. Senior brother, the Dayang straw mat was left to you by your master to practice your natal magic weapon. It is also a Dongzhen middle grade spiritual material. How can it be passed on to Junming? After waving his hand to interrupt him. Don't be impatient. I have the 8 diagrams mirror practiced by the Huiling bronze sacrifice as my natal magic weapon, and the Dayang straw mat is no longer needed. Moreover, A Xing and Xiao Yu are out of character by nature and are not members of the Taoist section. Most likely you can't pass on my Taoism, and it's a waste to keep it in your hands. On the contrary, Junming's understanding is astonishing. Not only did he understand the golden talisman from the golden light divine curse, but he also made rapid progress after learning the Golden Light Bagua from me. In the future, he will definitely surpass him in the practice of the pure Yang way. I giving him a sun straw mat will make the best use of everything. After a pause, Uncle Ju smiled and continued, and I also hope that one day, I can learn more profound Shenyang Taoism from him. This Dayang straw mat can also be regarded as a gift for cultivating. Senior brother should be open-minded. Uncle Ju nodded. Don't misunderstand that I'm just trying to steal your apprenticeship from you. Senior brother, it's serious. You and I are fellow disciples, and our friendship is extraordinary. Moreover, I am unable to teach Junming by myself. If senior brother is willing to share the burden, I will go find Junming now and let him worship you. Under the door. No need. Just look at a Seeing and Xiao Yu and you will know that my ability as a disciple is really not that good. It is better for you to let Junming stay with you. In the future, you only need to let him stay with me for 10 more days and a half. Just talk to me about Shenyang Taoism. It is also his blessing that senior brother is willing to give advice. I will definitely let him come to senior brother for advice in the future. That's good. However, I still ask for advice now. I'm afraid that in a few years, I will be the one asking for advice. Okay, let's not talk about this. When you come this time, do you plan to take Junming straight to Luofu Mountain? Well, it's been delayed for a month, and we can't wait any longer. And now that brat has achieved a breakthrough in innateness. If there is no Shangqing Great Cave Sutra, it will slow down his practice, and also delay the future fight for the 1,000-year-old Zikuo in the Changchun Valley. I thought, with your temperament, you would catch up with another batch of corpses along the way, Uncle Ju said with a smile. Haha, junior brother just wants to accumulate more virtue. I can still distinguish the priorities of things. As soon as the words stopped and he took a look at his senior brother's face, Taoist priest Four Eyes felt quite gloating. Senior brother, this time I passed by Changshui town and met my concubine. She asked me to tell senior brother. Okay. I get it. Uncle Ju's expression changed and he interrupted quickly. Become a disciple of Taoist priest Four Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 37. Chapter 37, Old Taoist. Hey, I know that senior brother doesn't want to hear it. But junior brother still has to say, although my concubine has a hot temper, she is a good person, more kind-hearted, and her qualifications are no worse than those of senior brother. The master is one of the 4 major golden elixirs of our section 1, with a strong background. What's even more difficult is that she has a deep love for her senior brother and has never forgotten it over the years. If senior brother and my aunt can form a Taoist couple, they can support each other and cultivate the Taoist path together in the future. In the future, if my concubine can give birth to a son and a half-daughter for my senior brother, wouldn't it be wonderful if he can not only enjoy family happiness, but also pass on the incense of the Lin family? If it's so good, why don't you find one yourself? Uncle Ju said depressedly. Hey, doesn't it mean that no one likes me, a bastard? Senior brother, it's different. 20 years have passed, and everyone is willing to wait. Uncle Ju, who had been teased for a while, drove Taoist priest Simu out in a irritated mood. 2 days passed by in a blink of an eye, and it was night again. It's rare that the moon is bright tonight, the stars are sparse, and the cool breeze is blowing. The residents of Jiquan town, who have been bored at home for a long time due to the continuous rainy days, go out of their homes to meet friends, drink tea and chat, and are so happy. In contrast, the door of Uncle Ju's dojo was closed, and it was dark inside, as if he had fallen asleep early. After Yang Xian waved the Dharma flag and sealed Uncle Ju's dojo, he walked to the back of the Dharma altar that had been set up long ago with satisfaction. Behind him, Uncle Ju and Taoist Master Four Eyes stood on one side. On the lower left side of the altar, Su Junming is the leader, followed by Ah Xing and Xiao Yu. Everyone looked serious and no one spoke. After about half a cup of tea, Yang Xian counted with his fingers and nodded. It's almost time, please ask senior brother Lin to cast a spell. Uncle Ju, who was dressed in apricot yellow Taoist robes, nodded, strode to the altar, made seals with his hands, and muttered words. Xianzong of heaven and earth, Yunzwen Taixu, a Dharma incense welcomes the immortal, 2 tokens pave the brocade road, as urgent as a law. The spell sounded, and the green smoke that originally rose above the incense burner suddenly went straight up to Qingming, and Uncle Ju picked up the 2 tokens and threw them ahead. A hazy yellow light emerged from the token, floating out of thin air about a foot in front of the altar. Uncle Ju activated his magic power, and the yellow brilliance on the token quickly brightened. Junior brother Yang, now. Uncle Ju gave a low drink. Yang Xian, who had long been ready to go, shook his hands and played a magic card. As soon as the spell card came close to the token, it turned into a big hole the size of a bowl in the blink of an eye, with darkness inside and no one knew where it led. Su Junming, Axing and Xiao Yu watched all this intently. This was the first time they had seen such a technique. Suddenly there was a flash of light. A blue spiritual light as thick as an arm and more than a foot long flew out from a deep hole as big as the mouth of a bowl, and turned into an old Taoist wearing a Taoist robe and a feather crown, with a thin face and a serious look. Although it was just a projection of spiritual consciousness, the majesty and magnanimity of this old Taoist were extremely extraordinary. Uncle Ju, Yang Xian, and Simu quickly bowed. Lin Feng Xiao. Yang Xian. 4 eyes. Meet Uncle Qian. Su Junming and the other 3, who had been told by 4th Eyes and Uncle Ju a long time ago, also bowed and saluted. Su Junming. Lu Axing. Lin Xiao Yu. Meet Uncle Qian. The old Taoist's majestic gaze swept over Ju Shu, Yang Xian, Simu, and others in turn. When he saw Su Junming, he obviously paused. Whose disciple is this boy? Uncle Taishi, Junming is my disciple's disciple, he said respectfully. He, who usually has an offbeat personality, has become serious now. The old Taoist nodded. You have trained an outstanding disciple for me, mission. After finishing his words, he frowned and looked at Su Junming again. Why haven't you received the seal yet? Back to Grand Master Uncle, Junming just broke through half a month ago, and my disciples haven't had time to take him to Luofu Mountain to receive the seal. The old Taoist frowned. Finish this matter as soon as possible, otherwise your practice will be delayed. Yes. Everyone is free of charge. After everyone stood up, the old Taoist continued, Yang Xian, are you ready? Everything is ready, we're just waiting for Grand Master Uncle Dharma to arrive. Glancing at the dragon-slaying corpse lying on the shelf next to him, the old Taoist nodded. Then let's get started. Yang Xian nodded and stood in the center of the altar. He closed his eyes and chanted a long spell. As his spell became more and more urgent, the light green aura on his fingertips became stronger and stronger. After a while, his eyes widened and he shouted loudly. 9 nether souls, hurry! The green light shot into the fingertips like lightning, and had been placed in a porcelain basin filled with water a few feet in front of the altar. After absorbing this green light, the originally clear well water suddenly began to ripple, and then it seemed as if a drop of thick ink had been mixed in, and the entire basin of water turned dark in the blink of an eye. An extremely strong yin qi spread out from the basin. Behind, a thin layer of green frost spread along the basin. Fortunately, there are all cultivators in the courtyard. Even Asing and Xiao Yu have good skills, so they are not afraid of the cold air. Suddenly, the originally dark and colorless water basin became shadowy, as if there was someone inside. When the water calmed down, 2 impermanences, one black and one white, with the ghost of the dragon slaying tide between them, appeared in front of everyone. Compared with the dragon slaying that Su Junming had seen before, his current Yinhun expression was dull and unresponsive. Yang Xian raised his hand and saluted. Mission Nanzong. Yang Xian would like to thank the two officials. We have been ordered by Judge Qin to escort the dragon-slaying ghost here. If you want to ask anything, just hurry up. After that, our brothers will take the soul to Senluo Palace for trial. Yang Xian nodded, and carefully took out an extremely complex dark blue talisman from the deerskin bag beside him. Yang Xian activated his magic power, and the blue talisman's spiritual light exploded. A ray of light flew out and disappeared into the body of the dragon-slaying ghost in the water basin like lightning. Immediately afterwards, a line of white smoke surged up and spread out about a foot above the basin, forming a 3-foot square cloud. After a short time, light and shadow gradually appeared in the clouds. As the shadow became clearer and clearer, the voice and smile of Tulong appeared in front of everyone. The dragon slayer in the picture has a fierce look on his brows and a domineering look, which is obviously what he looked like in life. I saw him shaking the soul-seizing bell and driving a group of corpses through the forest. Mission Taoist priests often deal with ghosts, foxes, and monster corpses. Yang Xian, Zhu Shu, Si Mu, and others can tell at a glance that these corpses are not real corpses at all, but are pretended to be living people. Soon, the scene in mid-air confirmed their guess. After walking for a while, probably because they were tired, these corpses showed their original shapes one after another, lying on the ground in a mess and resting. Although there was no sound in the middle, judging from their expressions, it was obvious that they were making dirty jokes and swearing. The old Taoist standing next to him snorted angrily. Unfilial son. Yang Xian, ignore these dirty scenes and look directly at the back. Yes, Grand Master Uncle. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 38. Chapter 38 Bronze Armored Corpse. As soon as Yang Xian activated his magic power, the scene suddenly sped up, skipping the content of exorcising corpses and resting, and soon came to the scene of slaying a dragon and visiting Uncle Ju in Jiquan town. Yang Xian consciously slowed down and clearly showed in front of everyone the process of when Su Junming fought against the dragon and finally captured him with a corpse rope. Seeing this, everyone except Uncle Ju, who they had met before, all the others unanimously focused their attention on the calm-looking young man next to them. Although Tulong has no knowledge or skills, he is still a disciple of the K generation who has advanced to the early stage of Xiantian for many years. At such a young age, Su Junming was able to match him in fists and kicks. In the end, he was able to capture easily with the help of magical symbols and weapons, showing his excellent vision and extraordinary courage when confronting the enemy at the right moment. Boy, your name is Su Junming, right? Uncle Hui Shi, that's right. Did you refine the talisman and magic weapon in your hand yourself? If you don't practice by yourself, it will be difficult to exert 100% of the power of magic symbols and magic weapons in a short period of time. Master Uncle's Dharma vision is correct. The old Taoist looked at him with a hint of surprise in his eyes. Only half a month after he broke through the innate realm, he was able to refine magic talismans and magic weapons. This kind of talent was something he had not seen many times even if he had lived for 200 years. At this time, the scene in mid-air reached a critical point. The old Taoist nodded and said nothing more. After Tulong left Uncle Ju's dojo, he went to the mayor's house. The two parties only talked for a few minutes and then left. Back at the back of the church, none of the fake corpses he had placed here were gone. Tulong's expression changed. He entered the church through the open back door, and then went straight to the basement in the southeast corner. After slaying the dragon entered the door, a black shadow flew over like lightning and knocked him out. A shadow wearing a black robe with a ferocious expression flashed away, and the scene ended abruptly. The cause of Tulong's death is now clear. If an unfilial person dies in the mouth of a zombie, it will be an advantage for him, the old Taoist said angrily. Uncle Taishi, Do you want to read it again? Yang Xian said. If you don't want to read it anymore, you can record it with a memory charm and take it back to the law enforcement hall. Yes. Where are the zombies? Uncle Ju quickly walked to the left side of the altar and lifted off the white cloth covering the shelf, revealing the hideous body that had long since died inside. The old Taoist priest stepped forward and took a look, his expression suddenly changed. Wrong. As if to get a clearer view, the old Taoist priest took 2 more steps forward. After a closer look, his face became more solemn. This is not a zombie, this is a non-bone. Not turning into bones, Uncle Ju was stunned. Zheng's body is covered with many inches of black hair. Do you think he has any? Uncle Grand Master, he is a foreigner. The old Taoist stared. Foreigners are also human beings, and they will grow black hair when they become zombies. And you can see that the residual corpse energy on their bodies is floating and has no foundation. If they are zombies, even if they are killed, the corpse energy will not dissipate and be rooted in the flesh. Here, I really don't know how that boy Li Changdao taught you, even zombies can't understand it. Uncle Ju has always been dignified, but now he is being trained like the third grandson in front of the old Taoist. This scene made Axing and Xiaoyu next to them want to laugh. This was the first time they saw their master's submissive and embarrassed look. After training Uncle Ju, the old Taoist's face became serious. Are you sure that Fu Huagu's strength during his lifetime was at an advanced stage? Uncle Ju nodded quickly. Then it's troublesome. A breath of corpse energy creates an immortal bone in the late stage of Xiantian. The guy who bit him is at least a bronze-armored corpse in the early stage of the golden core, and it's even possible in the middle stage. As soon as these words came out, not only Uncle Ju, but also Yang Xian and Simu couldn't help feeling frightened. With their cultivation level, if they encounter a bronze-armored corpse, they will die or not. Except for Su Junming, who had known about it for a long time, and Xing and Xiaoyu, who didn't know what he was talking about, everyone changed their minds. Yang Xian. Uncle Taishi, Yang Xian said quickly. Send this ray of my consciousness back. You stay here and don't move. The bronze-armored corpse is no small matter. I want to come there myself. Yes. After agreeing, Yang Xian sent the old Taoist spiritual consciousness back. Sanking Taoist comes again. Senior brother, there is actually a bronze-armored corpse hidden in your Jiquan town, Taoist Master Four Eyes said in disbelief. Senior brother Lin, have you not noticed at all in all these years? Seeing the two of them looking like you are really lucky, Uncle Ju felt a little sweat on his back. Especially when I think about the past 5 years, I have peed at the door of the church every day. Later, when he was cutting off the immortal bones, he still walked around in the gloomy basement of the church. Uncle Ju himself felt that he could still live so smoothly. It was really the blessing of the Taoist ancestors, and he was blessed with good fortune, wealth, and longevity. Seeing the senior brother shaking his head, he exclaimed with 4 eyes, Senior brother, you are so lucky. After Yang Xian nodded in agreement, he hesitated and said, Jiquan town is a densely populated place and an important transportation thoroughfare. The yin qi is not abundant and the earth qi is insufficient. How could a bronze-armored corpse be born? Zombies are rare things, let alone bronze-armored corpses. Yang Xian has been practicing Taoism for a long time. He has always heard about the bronze-armored corpse but has never seen it before. That's true, but Grand Master Uncle said yes, so that's definitely correct. Let's just wait here obediently, Simu said. The 3 of them nodded and said no more words. Senior brother, what is a bronze-armored corpse? Xiaoyu, who didn't quite understand, asked in a low voice. They were all taught by a master, and naturally Xing didn't know what a bronze-armored corpse was. However, in order to protect his image as a senior brother, after putting on a show, he glanced at the master in the distance and lowered his voice. Bronze-armored zombies are zombies wearing bronze armor. Su Junming, who heard next to him, twitched his mouth and had countless black lines hanging from his forehead. Only Axing could come up with such a strange explanation. Why do zombies wear bronze armor? Xiaoyu looked like she was breaking a casserole and asked the question. Idiot! Didn't you hear what it says in the play? The generals on the battlefield are all wearing armor. They are invulnerable and invincible. They kill the enemy without leaving any piece of armor behind. The bronze armor corpse is so powerful, he must also be wearing armor, and it is also bronze armor. Just like Zhao Zilong in the Three Kingdoms. Oh! Xiaoyu nodded confusedly. Don't talk nonsense if you don't understand, it's embarrassing. Uncle Ju suddenly turned his head and scolded Ah Sing with a livid face. The ascetics in the late Xiantian stage have sharp ears and eyesight, and the distance between the two sides is no more than 10 meters. Even if they lower their voices, they still can't hide it from Uncle Ju's ears. After years of accumulated prestige, Ah Sing, who was still a little proud just now, instantly lowered his head. Su Junming shook his head and smiled. He had seen this scene too many times during his more than a month in Jushu Dojo. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 39. Chapter 39, Weapon Refining Notes. The straight line distance between Luofu Mountain and Jiquan Town, where Uncle Ju lives, is no more than 150 kilometers. The monks at the Golden Elixir stage were already able to fly with weapons. Within half an hour, they saw a red meteor flying rapidly from the southeast. From far to near, within half a cup of tea, it came to the sky above the dojo, flew down and appeared. The figure of an experienced Taoist appears. Compared with the previous projection of consciousness, this old Taoist didn't have any power at all, as if he was just an ordinary old man wearing Taoist attire. It's just that he has a childish face with white hair and an ethereal temperament, which shows that he is extraordinary. Lin Fengxiao, Yang Xian, and Simu, pay your respects to Grand Master Uncle. Su Junming and 3 others also came forward to pay their respects. But his eyes were more focused on the token held in the old Taoist's arms, which was wide on one side and narrow on the bottom, 2 feet and 3 inches long, 1 palm wide, 1 finger thick, and completely fiery red. Even though he was nearly 10 meters away, he could still detect the extraordinary nature of this token. Especially the complex divine patterns on the surface, you can feel the boundless fire at a glance. Get up. The old Taoist waved his hands and waved invisible force to lift everyone up, then looked at Su Junming. After looking up and down, he nodded with satisfaction. Come here. Su Junming stepped forward quickly. Master Uncle. How long have you been practicing Taoism? Returning to my great uncle, it has been 3 years and 5 months since my disciple became a disciple of my mentor. 3 years and 5 months. Uncle Taishi, my disciple accepted Junming in Beisha Town, southern Hunan 3 years ago. It has only been 3 years and 5 months now. Simu stepped forward quickly. I didn't say I didn't believe it. Why are you so anxious? After scolding him 4 times. Bring me your body binding rope. Su Junming did not dare to neglect, and quickly took out the corpse rope he had practiced and handed it over. Hold it in your hand and feel it carefully. The sacrificial training techniques are rough, but the control of the materials is pretty good. He frowned and looked directly at Su Junming. Have you understood the 3 towns talisman? Su Junming nodded and spread his right palm. A white spiritual light lit up, and a talisman shaped like a big seal appeared in everyone's eyes. Yes, if I remember correctly, that boy Li Changdao practices the Shen Dao Zhenju and the Chun Yang Bagua. As his disciple, which one do you practice? Disciples practice in both disciplines. The palm of Su Junming's open right hand once again lit up with two spiritual lights. One is shaped like a 8 diagrams, with the richest white light, the other is a statue of a martial saint, with a slightly lighter white light. The three talismans occupy the triangle, and the spiritual light is shining. Although it is not bright, it reveals Su Junming's deep understanding of the way of pure yang, the way of divine attack, and the sealing of attract. There was a hint of surprise on the old Taoist's face. I didn't expect that you would be able to achieve such feats at such a young age, which shows that you have superhuman understanding. Master and uncle have taught me well. Disciples dare not take all the credit. Excellent qualifications, and respect for teachers. You are great. Disciple, thank you, master, uncle for the compliment. The old Taoist nodded with satisfaction, waved his hand, and two spiritual lights flew to Su Junming. They are a book with sparkling light, and a transparent bead that looks like a child's fist. Inside the bead is a white and purple flame that is similar to an ordinary person's thumb. Seeing that you are quite talented in refining weapons, this handbook contains some of my experience in refining weapons in my early years before I was promoted to Jindan. I will leave it to you to study. In addition, this purple spirit white fire is made from the refined purple energy and flames I collected from the East. It is upright, gentle, mellow, and benevolent. It can not only refine elixirs and weapons, but also protect the body and achieve enlightenment. Now I give it to you as well. Holding two treasures in his hands, Su Junming was inexplicably surprised. Needless to say, there is no need to talk about the weapon refining handbook. With the experience of the experienced Taoist and the assistance of the bronze mirror, his weapon refining level will definitely improve by leaps and bounds. Although purple spirit white fire is only the lowest grade low-grade white spiritual fire, the value of a spiritual fire is much more precious than a low-grade magic weapon. Without a profound understanding of the way of fire and years of hard work, one would not be able to cultivate such a fire. Disciple, I would like to thank my uncle for giving me the treasure. I will definitely practice harder in the future and live up to my uncle's great kindness in giving me the treasure and preaching the truth. As long as you have this intention. After finishing his words, he stretched out his hand to grab it, and a wisp of light blue corpse energy flew from the body of Xiang Fugu next to him into the hands of the old Taoist. You guys stay here for a while, I'll go meet this bronze armored corpse. The divine fire command in the old Taoist's hand flashed with inspiration, and his whole body turned into a stream of flames rising into the sky. Simu, you are such a lucky disciple. Over the years, apart from senior brother Chen Zhen's disciple Lu Changqing, he is the only young disciple who has caught Master Qian's eyes and asked him to take the initiative to bestow treasures. Yang Xian's words contained a hint of something. Fen Yan said with envy. There was a look of pride on Simu's face. Lu Changqing is the most outstanding disciple among the younger generation of Mission Nanzang. After practicing for 8 years, his cultivation level has surpassed that of many elders of the K generation. He has an outstanding reputation within the sect and is favored by everyone. Although his disciples are not as good as him now, being given a treasure by Uncle Qian Dinglin is a kind of recognition in itself. As a master, he feels quite honored. On the other hand, Uncle Ju was also smiling, looking at Su Junming with a kind of elder-like relief in his eyes. After a few brief exchanges, the three of them looked up at the red stream of light flying back and forth around Jiquan town. Su Junming played with the two new treasures, put them away and looked up. Compared with the expectations and a little anxiety of Simu and Jushu, Su Junming was much calmer. From the words of the dead Father Wu, he had long known that the troublesome bronze-armored corpse was not in Jiquan town at all, but in Nyotu Mountain in western Hunan, more than 300 kilometers away. Sure enough, about 10 minutes later, a red stream of light flew down with no results. Uncle Grand Master Simu, Jushu, and Yang Xian came forward to pay their respects. The old Taoist nodded and said with a slight frown. Linfeng Xiao, Was this Fuguga really born from that Western church? Exactly. His expression didn't look like he was faking it, and the old Taoist frowned even deeper. That's strange. I searched for it for a long time using the method of tracing back to the source, but I couldn't see any trace of the bronze-armored corpse. Simu and Jushu were stunned for a moment. Uncle Taishi, could it be blocked by formations and restrictions? If not, this Jiquan town would have died early, Yang Xian said. It's possible. But if that's the case, how did it get in before it turned into a bone? How did it get out? This. Yang Xian was stunned when he heard this. Forget it, I'll do another careful inspection tomorrow. You guys should evacuate this place. Everyone hurriedly agreed, removed the altar, and temporarily placed the corpses of the boneless and slaying dragons in the morgue in the backyard. As a landlord, Uncle Ju was the only one responsible for arranging accommodation. Fortunately, except for Asing and Xiaoyu, everyone is superior in nature and can already eat qi and live without food, so they don't need food, which saves them a lot of trouble. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 40. Chapter 40 Purple Spirit White Fire. Simu shared a room with Su Junming. When he returned to his residence, he was overjoyed to see Hunter Xin. He took the item refining notes and purple spirit white fire given by the old Taoist in his hands and played with them. Your boy's luck and luck are much better than those of my master. Back then, all the gifts your master brought me to ask for were not as valuable as the item refining notes and the purple spirit white fire. There was a sudden pause in his words, and his brows wrinkled slightly. Master, is there something wrong? There's nothing wrong with that. But with the purple spirit white fire here, if you practice the sacred fire order, you will get twice the result with half the effort. And as the fire technique becomes more and more sophisticated, you can also gather the flame essence and the eastern purple qi to make this fire continuous advancement, refining weapons and elixirs, protecting the body and dispelling demons. There is nothing magical about it. But when your manpower is limited, your understanding is high. You have already studied the Shen de Zhenju and the Golden Light Bagua. If you continue to study the Shen Fire Order, I'm afraid it will delay your path. In this case, I will not practice the Sacred Fire Order, Su Junming said. 4 Eyes nodded and sighed. In this case, I'm afraid it will be a waste of Uncle Qian's efforts, and it will also be a waste of your talent in weapon refining. Refining weapons, especially those with metal attributes, requires powerful spiritual fire. If there is no spiritual fire and only mana is used, low-level magical weapons are fine, but once they reach high level, it will be difficult to use them to their full potential. And if you can refine weapons, you can also earn spiritual elixirs and speed up your practice. With your qualifications, you can expect golden elixirs in the future. Then you don't have to be like me, working hard to accumulate evil virtues and looking forward to finding a career in the underworld. A job to avoid the suffering of reincarnation. The difference between Xiantian and Jindan is the difference between heaven and earth. As a monk in the Xiantian stage, no matter how powerful you are, you only have a lifespan of 120 years. But the golden elixir lasts for 360 years, which is 3 times the length of the innate period. Moreover, compared with the innate ones, the spirit, energy, and spirit of the monks in the golden elixir stage are condensed and unified, and the soul has already taken shape. Even if the Taoism is transferred to the underworld in the future, there will be seniors in the sect to guide them. They can choose to switch to the ghost way and work as an errand in the underworld. Or reincarnate again, be guided by the sect, and practice again. In contrast, Xiantian does not have this treatment. Hearing this, Su Junming couldn't help but feel a little more hesitant. Originally, he planned to choose the Shangqing Divine Thunder technique to practice after receiving the seal, but with this weapon refining manual and the purple spirit white fire, it seemed that practicing the Divine Fire Order would be more beneficial to him. Regarding your future path, I can't make decisions for you. It's up to you to decide this matter yourself. Su Junming nodded, took the item refining manual and the glass ball that sealed the fire from the master and put them away. While he was struggling, 3 days passed by in a flash. In the past 3 days, Qian Dinglin, the elder of the law enforcement hall, together with Jushu, Simu, and Yangxian, searched the area within 100 miles of Jiquan town and found no trace of the bronze-armored corpse. Uncle Taishi, it seems that the bronze-armored corpse is not in Jiquan town, Yangxian said with a hint of exhaustion on his face. After 3 days of continuous casting, he still felt tired even though he was close to a breakthrough in the middle stage of Xiantian. Qian Dinglin nodded. It's a pity that I don't know how to calculate, otherwise I can save a lot of time. Forget it, since I can't find it, the bronze-armored corpse is probably not in Jiquan town. After that, he turned his head. Simu, I want to return to Luofu Mountain. If nothing happens to you, I will take you back together. If Uncle Taishi is willing to take the trouble, I would be very grateful, Simu said with joy. Naturally, he would like to save time and fly back. Qian Dinglin nodded, Linfeng Xiao. Uncle Grand Master. Uncle Ju responded quickly. Although the bronze-armored corpse was not found in Jiquan town, there is no guarantee that it is not nearby. To ensure safety, you should change your dojo to another location. Yes. Even if he didn't say it, Uncle Ju would consider moving the dojo. Okay, that's all I have to say. Is there anything else you want to say to each other? Everyone shook their heads together. Seeing this, Qian Dinglin waved his sleeves, held his 4 eyes with magic power. Su Junming and Yangxian turned into a fiery red stream of light and came out of the hall, soared into the sky, and disappeared from the horizon in the blink of an eye. Seeing this scene, Uncle Ju was stunned for a moment, and it took him a long time to react. Looking around, feeling the silence that was completely opposite to before, I couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. I have been with Su Junming for a long time, and I feel a little reluctant to separate suddenly. Master, do we really want to move? Ah Xing asked, lacking confidence. Seeing the expressions on his and Xiaoyu's faces, Uncle Ju hesitated for a moment and nodded. Although he didn't want to leave, the thought of a bronze-armored corpse hiding next to him made Uncle Ju feel uncomfortable even peeing, let alone practicing. It's just that these 2 disciples are from Jiquan town. Their parents and brothers are in the countryside below, far away from their hometown, and they are afraid they won't be able to leave. Not mentioning Uncle Ju's dilemma, Su Junming was sitting on a fiery red decree as big as a house. The strong wind was raging around him, and the mountains under his feet were flying backwards. The villages, towns, and cities were dotted like worms. Just looking at the boundless scenery made Su Junming's heart widen, and he suddenly felt heroic. In my heart, I have endless longing for the realm of golden elixir. Compared to his surging heart, Simu and Yangxian were calmer. Apparently they had experienced such a situation before. The Shenhuo order was urged by Fire Taoist Qian Dinglin to move forward rapidly. About half an hour later, a huge mountain suddenly appeared where the sky and the earth met. Followed by numerous mountain shadows, accompanied by wisps of clouds and mist, it looked like a huge dragon crawling on the earth. As the distance increases, strange rocks, pine trees, bamboo forests, clear springs, and waterfalls appear. Under the soft afternoon sunshine, a golden temple standing on the top of the mountain came into view. Countless pilgrims climbed up the winding mountain road, which was very lively. Su Junming heard from Simu that the southern sect of Mission was divided into front and back mountains, and the front mountain was the well-known Qing Palace on Mission Mountain. The back mountain is the place where the monks of the southern sect of Mission go to practice. Under the leadership of Qian Dinglin, after flying over the front mountain and then flying forward over 2 peaks, the Shenhuo Ling turned around and crashed head-on into a mountain wall. Su Junming saw the jagged rocks and the extremely hard rock wall polished by the mountain wind getting closer and closer to him. Even though he knew that it was impossible to really hit him, he couldn't help feeling a little nervous. Fortunately, he had good concentration and sat cross-legged, showing no signs of dodge. Seeing this performance in the eyes of Qian Dinglin and Yang Xian, they couldn't help but appreciate it a little more. The imaginary collision with the mountain did not happen. Su Junming only felt that his eyes were blurred, and a huge valley appeared in front of him. The valley is surrounded by mountains on all sides, with thousands of cliffs as smooth as a mirror. To the southeast, a waterfall falls, creating a rainbow in the afternoon sun, and the scenery is endless. The heavy water fell into the valley, making a thunderous sound and opening up a deep pool at the bottom of the valley. The pool water overflowed, forming a crystal-clear river, winding through the valley, submerging into the stone crevices in the distance and disappearing. There are buildings on both sides of the valley, the most conspicuous of which is a large hall facing north and south in the center of the valley. The main hall has a white marble foundation, huge wooden beams, red walls, and green tiles, and is majestic and unpredictable.